Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and it's finally here. Zack Snyder's Justice League is here on HBO Max. The cut we never thought would be here is here. And as I said in my review, look, you're going to have thoughts on this movie. You're going to love it. You're going to be mad at me and say, Andy, this is amazing. And then, or you're going to agree with me and say, yeah, I don't understand what all the hype is about. It's going to go both ways. It's going to be divided. It is what it is. But all that aside, congratulations to Zack team and his fans, because I mean, we never thought this was going to happen, that this actually was going to see the light of day. And here it is, finally, on HBO Max. All right, so I got to be careful in the clips and things like that. We are going to spoil this, so I'm assuming at this point you've seen the film or you know, whatever it is. But spoiler warning, we're finally going to talk about it all. Now, look, this is a weird movie because how do you spoil this movie? I know it's a different cut. I know it's potentially better for most of you, etc. But we know the plot pretty much. I mean, he did reveal some new scenes and things that I want to talk about. And overall, the comparison between Joss and Zack. I'm going to say something unpopular here. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me. I don't think it was Joss's fault. I think he was mandated by the head by Warner Brothers, Kevin Tusahura at the time, for having to make a 2-hour cut. Now, in doing so, he absolutely pulled some amazing scenes from the film and I think cut some of the action down, and it just suffers because of it. I agree. But at the same time, I think the studio is really more to fault than Joss, because the things that Joss did was really just try to tighten it up and clearly add a lot of get rid of a lot of exposition to sort of justify all the mother box jargon. Like Joss likes to sort of fast forward through sci-fi exposition. And I think that's the biggest thing I also noticed in doing so. Now, again, before I even get to the spoilers of the things I want to talk about here, there were a couple scenes in Joss's version that I did like. I'm sorry, I did. I love the foot race at the end of the movie. I loved actually the idea of Superman in the beginning talking to the kids and them asking what's your favorite part of being on Earth, and he pauses for a minute. It starts hopeful, and then he goes into that montage, etc. And I feel like that opening of Joss's worked for me. It did. It also gave us that Batman scene where it shows Batman sort of ahead of the mother boxes and paying attention to what's going on. Whereas when we get to the Snyder version, it starts with that very long opening. Well, it starts with the sort of flashback scene of like, here's what's happening. Superman's death has activated the mother boxes, as we learn, but then it goes straight to Bruce Wayne climbing the mountain looking for Arthur, and I don't think it's a good start. I think the order that Joss chose was actually smarter at the end of the day. Now, I think for the first half there was a little bit of a smarter order, kicks up some action. Now, I wish it was just not as tight as Joss had to make it, to be fair. I really think there's a version in the middle of this that really would be the best version of it. But at the end of the day, I look. Say what you will about Joss Whedon. I understand a lot of people don't like him for various reasons. He may have been a complete jerk on the set of that movie. I hear all those complaints, and I don't want to get into. I don't know the man, so I'm not going to hear defending the man from that. But creatively, it's very clear some of the choices that he had to make, and that came from the top. Cut it up, make it funnier, try to explain this mother box stuff quicker, and just get to the action. It's very clear that's what he did, and so. In that regard, yeah, the Joss Whedon version, I've never been a big fan of it. I don't like it. But I thought some of the stuff he added there, the Batman opening and stuff, was great. Now, here's an example of what I don't want to seem like I'm pausing on Joss. Here's something where Zack proves his worth completely, because this scene here was probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I made a note when I was watching, like, man, that was so much better. The scene where Martha and Lois meet in the home and they have this really engaging talk. I agree. I literally cried watching this. Whatever Joss put in jail for turning this wholesome scene into whatever the F this was. Look, the reason what he did here was a far less good scene where he was just trying to get through it quickly. He had to address the issue with Martha, and he had to get Lois involved. And in the movie, Bruce is using Lois to sort of get Superman back. That's all pulled from the Zack cut. Batman's not being detective or weird in that way, right? But regardless, the scene, you can tell here, this scene plays like 100 times better than the one in the Daily Planet, which was just awful. And when you see them back compared, which I watched them back to back, it's embarrassing. This reshoot, it's embarrassing. So look, I'm not completely defending Joss. There are moments here, and if someone, I'm sure will break down all of the scenes, etc., all the little nuances that were added. But this to me was the perfect example of when it did work. When Zack clearly proved he knew what he was doing way better than obviously Joss was. But I still stand by the fact, I think Joss had a hard task. He was given 4 hours of footage, and they're like, you got to make this 2 hours. And by the way, add some comedy and whatever you got to do. And so in doing so, and make it make sense, in doing so, he shot some of these scenes that I think were less effective just to get it out and get it done. I really do believe that. So look, everyone's going to hate on Joss and say what it is. Dude came in at the end of got paid, but to come in and fix it for the studio. Zack had to go, and I hear the studio did some terrible things too, and all of that needs to be handled. And I'm not trying to deny any of that. It's just the reality here is it's clear what happened from a creative cut standpoint. Now let's talk about some of the sort of the big scenes. So I got to be careful because Warner Brothers, I don't know why they don't let us show things. So I'm going to start playing. It's really just the ending. The ending. Shh, quiet, don't talk. Yeah, there we go. The ending is really where things get wild. The epilogue scenes, where we see Lex on the yacht. The first one is with Aquaman driving away, etc. Was supposed to be the end of the movie, apparently. And then we get a little bit more where we see Jesse Eisenberg's thing, and then it goes into the nightmare sequence. I don't know why we got so much of Mera. I don't get it. And this is fair use now. The video's up there. I'm not going to play any video. I'm just using some stills from the video that exists to talk about. So YouTube, studios, don't you dare. I will challenge this to crazy. I'm going to show some stills here and there to sort of talk about this as we talk about the spoilage of the movie. But this end scene, sorry, don't like it. Still don't like Jared Leto. Oh, the badges he's collected on this weird what is he wearing? Oh my God, it feels so weird. And he sounded so much like Jim Carrey again. I don't know. When I saw Suicide Squad, it was my biggest complaints of the movie was how like he just sounded like Ace Ventura. There was just an Ace Ventura Jim Carrey-ness to him. And it's a full-on effect here. This was completely unnecessary. This idea that we needed to see Ben Affleck with Jared Leto. No, give him a better Joker. If you're going to get him back, do a better Joker. I don't need to see him together. Put him in a new world. Really didn't like this scene. I didn't like any of the scene. I didn't think the scene was necessary. What? This was just to sort of like see where this could go. And I don't want to see where that could go. This is a weird, like, we're all standing in the middle of nowhere in a studio, clearly. So here's who was available. Let's all have a big, quick conversation. And that terrible shot of CGI Cyborg with his arms, it looks terrible. I'm going to hate on this scene. This epilogue was not needed. I don't see how it didn't get me excited at all. I mean, like, ooh, yeah. I think this actually hurt the cut for me because it just was unnecessary. Why did he have a dream sequence about Nightmare again? What? Well, why? Bruce is still having flashback dreams about what's going to happen? It doesn't make any sense to me. This is another example of visual cool. Yeah, let's put this together just cuz. Now, the scene at the end with Martian Manhunter, where Bruce wakes up, this was interesting. This was interesting because, again, it connected to that other scene where we saw Martian Manhunter, which I really liked. I liked the idea of him, like, he was there to sort of help, Martian Manhunter's there to help humanity any ways he can. And so for him sort of playing that scene as Martha to get Lois back in and have her get back up, I actually really liked that scene. And so when Martian Manhunter shows up at the end here, I could see this as a good end credit scene to sort of hype things up of he's coming, he's part of this world too. Now, I think he looks terrible. I'll be honest. I don't like the look. And I'm a fan. I used to play with this figure all the time. That does not look like this at all. I mean, he's trying to, but I don't know, man. I lost his cape because I played with him too hard. Look, I can't sell these figures, but I play with them. I mean, come on. My Flash is still together. It still works. There it goes. Red Tornado. Look, I got them all. I'm a fan. Leave me alone. I got my Hawkman. Look, he's still got the wings that go. My super friends, they're all here. But yeah, look, I didn't like this look. Didn't like the look. I like the idea of it though, so I can give this one a pass. But as for all the end credit scenes go, the idea that I preferred the ending, I'll say it, with Jesse Eisenberg saying, I think we start a league of our own, was way better than I'll tell you who Batman is. Bruce Wayne. Dude, Bruce Wayne has been telling everybody who he is. He's been out there telling anybody. Everybody in that Aquaman village knows who he is. It's become so clear. He's not hidden he's out there telling everybody in these movies. So that wasn't a shock to me at all. Feels like Bruce is older. He's kind of like, whatever. I'm Batman. How did they not figure it out already? I mean, it makes sense. Lex did. But that is a reveal of, oh no. Didn't work for me. I liked Let's Start a League of Our Own. Actually, to me, was more interesting. And again, look, I got real personal issues with this woman, and I don't know why he needed to add her. I don't know why he did not need to add that more Amber, and so the fact that he did really upset me. So from a spoiler standpoint, wasn't a fan. Now, my favorite part of the movie was when the Flash learned how to do the sort of go back, and they actually, that when I talked about the moment that I cheered. Now it's because I'm trying to do positive, negative. When I watch that scene at the finale when Superman shows up and instead of getting hit, Cyborg getting hit, it hits Superman and goes, "Hey, so much better of a reveal than in Joss's cut." The whole sequence there was fantastic. And then when they lose and you get to see Darkseid watching from afar and everything, loved it. And then I was like, I fell for it. I was like, oh man, what's going on? And then I was like, oh yeah. And then that's when we got to get Flash, that big moment. He's like, I can do this. And he goes and learns how to do it. It's a great establishing of, yeah, he can go back just a bit, reset the time a little bit, and then go touch that moment to me was really fun, and I liked it. I liked the Flash sequence with Iris. I thought it was a really good addition. Necessary? No, but a cool sequence. No, I mean, shocked they cut that one, to be honest. But you could tell in Joss's version they were trying to make Flash Barry seem more inexperienced, right? And in this so that scene sort of shows, it just sort of established, yeah, the Flash knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, but he's not a hero yet. He's learning his powers, and I can appreciate that Zack was sort of trying to get over that, but I really missed that scene. I said this in the other review. I missed the scene of Bruce just save one. You still could have gotten a version of that in while still being hesitant. He knows his powers, but he's like, I've never done this to this scale. What am I supposed to do? Just save one. Just save one person. You'll know what to do. But he already saved a person earlier, so that's why they're different narratives for the Flash. I like them both, but it just shows I don't hate what Joss did with that moment. I don't like Flash falling on Wonder Woman. I see why there was problems there. He already did that in Avengers with a lazy gag, stupid. Especially if Gal didn't want to do it. From what I'm heard, super sketch of him to do that. So, look, apparently there's issues. I wish Joss would clarify and just come out and say what it is. But anyway, in some of the regards, just looking at it from a creative standpoint, some of the stuff Joss did, I didn't mind. And now seeing it all, I see what Joss really did was make sure my mic is on. There it goes. Sorry. Oh, man, come on. I can't. There we go. My mic is bad. I'm getting a new mic, guys, so bear with me. I don't have time. I'm trying to do this quickly before I'm going on vacation, so I got to hold it here as I wrap things up. So thank you for bearing with me. Donate and support via the links below. I need to upgrade. It's not. I thought it was the cord. It's the mic. But as I wrap up my thoughts here, yes, look, there were parts of Joss's that worked. I'll be honest. But overall, Zack does a really good job here with a lot of the stuff. I'm not going to. Anybody who's out there and saying it's a terrible disaster of a movie, I think is being harsh. It's definitely better. Now, it's still not my type of not my cup of tea with these characters. I don't love it from that. I don't love this movie, but I'm not going to sit here and knock on it. I think like a lot of people expected me to, or others. No, I'm going to be fair, and I wasn't bored. I mean, there was a slog a little bit in the first half, but as it went going, there were some fun moments. I love the sequence when Superman comes back, and I do think they handled it better in Zack's cut. That whole sequence and everything, they sort of don't imply that he's coming back bad. The Pet Cemetery jokes, which were funny, there's sort of like an implication it's all going to work out, and then it doesn't, and then they're all kind of shocked. And then Cyborg's even like, he's a threat. Oh, no. It's like there's a more tension in what's going to happen moment in Zack's version that worked 10 times better. And so that sequence and then when he sees the Flash in slow-mo and they fight, like, great sequence, 10 times better. Now, was it better that Ben Affleck's Batman, that Bruce Wayne didn't call in Lois? I liked Batman having a little bit more of a plan. I liked because that's sort of what Batman is. So I would have preferred that. But it's I can live with the way it was in Zack's too. It just was a little convenient. But they set up the tone that Lois kept checking the funeral, coming back to the grave, and she was there regularly enough that that's why she's there. But overall, again, my point is, I don't know. I think people are being harsh on Joss. Joss again had to tighten this movie and try to make some things make sense. Now, he made some terrible choices, I agree. But at the same time, Zack, did we really need that opening hymn with Aquaman's town as long as it was? And then the weird woman the lady girl sniffing his sweater. What was going on with that scene? There was a lot of those moments that Zack could have trimmed. It was overly excessive to me. So overall, I'm just looking through my notes from a spoiler standpoint. We've gone through most of the scenes that I wanted to share about that Superman reveal. The Flash moment was great. Steppenwolf was fine. I felt bad for him. And Darkseid, I like the molten lava when he shows up and the parademons all kneel before he even shows up to sort of show what's about to happen. There were absolutely some good moments in this movie. I'm not going to lie, but it just overly was long, and I do think it made Batman seem not as smart. Batman always to me is supposed to be ahead of everything, and I think they still could have had him try over planning to try and justify what he can't control. Still would have been good for me. Removing the Russian family stuff, I get. That was always a weird thing, but I really liked Superman and the Flash. Like, I'll take this, you take the right. That was a fun moment to see them saving people together instead of just stopping parademons. So I see why that was added, but I did miss the idea of it. But I didn't need to see that weird random Russian family in the middle on the truck was sort of silly. So overall, look, spoiler wise, I think we've covered most of the important stuff. There's nothing really else out there to surprise everybody. I think people were thinking Green Lantern and everything was going to show up, and they didn't. The scene with Darkseid where he loses in the beginning scene, like the flashback scene, I thought was kind of weak. It made Darkseid look like kind of a little B. He lost really easily. And it was like, I thought you were supposed to be this massive threat, and two gods and some people beat you? That's not a good way to set up a big threat. So I didn't understand that. I thought Steppenwolf being pulled out in the original, like, no, this is gonna. He was just angry and not injured. Like, was a better move. Like, we got to retreat. We'll come back and do this later. I don't know. The Steppenwolf montage with the history lesson more effective, I thought, than seeing Darkseid just get slayed right away. Anybody else feel that way? Or am I crazy? Now, Darkseid looked more menacing later, but then clearly they added those shots of Darkseid with like, here's more Darkseid because we've hyped him up and we made him. So here's what could have happened. Clearly, those CGI scenes with Darkseid were added with him taking everybody out to try and show that he is a badass, and it helped. But still, that first real sequence we got was weird because I think we all wanted. I got my Darkseid figure. I can't find him. We all wanted to see him being badass and more in the movie. But overall, yeah, the order of things is better. In some ways, but then it's not in other ways. I really do think, and I might do a video breakdown if someone doesn't beat me to it. I just can't do it right away. Of that opening scene, the opening scenes between the two movies, because it's a massive big difference, and the opening really sets the tone in a way. And I'll say it again, I prefer the opening to Joss's version than I do Zack's. Now, as the movie progresses, Zack's won me over, and I think it ends much stronger as well. The epilogue, too many tacked on scenes that I think were unnecessary. He didn't need it all. He did not need the nightmare scene. He clearly did that to sort of hype people up and be like, see. So the fans got excited. Didn't hype me up personally. I'm curious what you think. Tell me down in the comments. But seeing Jared Leto and Amber Heard, no, that did the opposite of hyping me up. I'm like, cool. Let's put this one to bed. Now, the nightmare scene from BVS was cooler. I would have preferred that. But all of them in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of an open plain, like wait, and then Superman shows up, and I don't know. It wasn't didn't like it. But I'm curious what you think overall. Look? I'm not good on Zack. Celebration for Zack getting this cut out. It's here. Curious what you guys all really think now that you've seen it, especially my audience. But can you see what I'm coming from? Of like, yes, blame Joss as being a jerk. A lot of other issues maybe Joss does have potentially, but from a creative standpoint, I don't like some of the things he did. And tightening clearly wasn't as effective. But do you understand why he did it? Do you follow me? Do you think it's really his fault creatively that he was given a mandate by the studio? Zack stepped away, apparently, had to for a tragedy. And Joss came in and just did what the studio wanted. The studio, to me, is the one who should be to blame. And so the fact that the studio is now right that wrong and release this, all right, at least they made some good. They put up a lot of money for this cut. I'll be curious to see how many people actually tuned in. There were only 20,000 people watching the premiere, YouTube red carpet premiere. You'd think a lot of them would have been the people who were watching. So how many people actually downloaded this night of? It'd be very fascinating. It's a lot of talk, a lot of hype online, but what will really be the numbers? We shall find out. I don't know, man. I don't know why everyone thinks this is going to be as big of a deal as Wonder Woman 84. I think Wonder Woman 84 is going to will have gotten more downloads. I don't say that with hate. I just say that for what it is. But last thing I will mention, because a lot of people were talking about it, the 4:3 ratio thing. I still don't get it. I mean, I get it. I know he's not cutting picture. He shot it, and then usually they have to crop that 4:3 IMAX frame for TVs. I get it. So he's, instead of cropping what most people do, he kept it full. But just frame it. They have bars on cameras now to sort of tell you what the IMAX settings would be. Why would you frame so much important stuff in the IMAX frame? You don't need to. You can make this as both options, but I just, to me, always shoot where the most theaters are. Most cinema theaters, most TV screens, most things you're going to watch this movie on, even at high screens and theaters, it's going to be 16:9. So I don't understand why you would do to 4:3. It's for a couple hundred IMAX screens maybe. I don't even know. Way more places you're going to watch this, even on your phone at some point. And those bars, I would say the same now for I get it, for old letterbox movies. It's tough to watch it now because like I want to see it in my picture. And movies have sort of made that the standard. Netflix and things when you stream, they shoot it now to fit your TV. And so I don't know. Why even in 2017? Why would you frame your movie for IMAX? You gonna crop it in all the cinemas too back then? It was a weird choice to me. Now that said, it went away. Apparently there's more screen taken away on the top and bottom bars than there are on the side bars. So I did the math. So you're seeing more than you would on a letterbox movie on your big screen. But I don't like that either. I like to just see more picture on it. Now, granted, I prefer always to see the director's vision, always. And I'm glad he gets to see a vision. And overall, that's what I want to end on. Like, look, it's nice to see a director, a visionary, get to make the movie he wants to put out there and not have it be mandated and do this from studio notes. And it's a fascinating lesson to watch and compare the two. So I'm curious overall what you think. I didn't mean to throw shade at Zach in this. I congratulate him truly, even though there's a lot of drama and stuff going on this week. I applaud him, and I'm glad people get to see it, and I look forward to all of us watching and making these comparisons. I'm pretty positive we're going to have a Saturday night live stream tonight, Nerd Wars. We're going to talk about the Snyder Cut. We're going to get into it. I hope if you guys want to get on or know somebody who should be on this fight, let me know down below. You can hit me up on social media. So join us Saturday night for a special live stream if we can pull it all together. And I'm going to go step away. Spring break this week. Take a little bit of a break, but tune in Saturday night. I hope to be back for a live stream to talk about it. Thank you guys so much for supporting. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Please smash that. And then check out some of these videos. We got lots more coming here on Popcorn Planet. In fact, check out that drama that happened on the left there. Whoo! I got some things to say about that.